guys, welcome back. So today, first of all, I hope everybody's doing well into the second week of January. I can't believe how fast time is going. It's unreal. It seemed like it was just Thanksgiving and everybody was going to Black Friday. Like, it literally seems like it was just Black Friday. I know I'm not the only one who feels that way, but time is just flying by. You know, amazing. Even the young people think time's flying by fast. So I know they used to say like, when you get older, time starts going faster. But when you hear, like when I hear my granddaughter talking, and I mean, grandkids like 11, you know, 18, like if they say time's going by fast, time is really going by fast. So anywho, on that note, first of all, okay, let's show my almost completion of my sleeve. I got it's a long stem rose. Can't really, like, that's the stem, but the whole point of the way the stem is to have it kind of like fade and not be like really intense. And then we're gonna do some touch-ups. Obviously this is an old one right here, like, I don't know, 10 years old maybe. And so obviously we still have to put a piece here, and I think just like right in here, and then just touch-ups, like literally just touch-ups. And then obviously I'm going from here, and then I haven't decided what piece I want to put here. I think this is where I want to put my baby elephant, so, or just elephant period, but a small one. So yeah, that's what's going on. I had that done today, so that was fun. Doesn't even hurt. Everybody thinks like, oh my god, did it hurt? And it's like, well, I mean, it didn't tickle, but it literally didn't hurt. Like, I sat there, scrolled through my phone, and there was a couple spots that didn't really hurt, but the way it makes you feel is like it gives you the chills. So it like must hit like it, because we have different nerve endings everywhere. I talked about that in, I think, one of my tattoo little update video I did a while back, I think last summer, when I was starting this whole process, I had a tribal here and I got it covered up. So when I was starting my journey, you know, to get this arm done, it was, I think, just this piece. And anyway, I was explaining that there's different nerve endings in your body, so it hurts differently, you know, different parts of your body. I know my back right up here, that one hurt really bad, only because the guy had a heavy hand and he was literally like carving into my back. That's what it felt like. But my tattoo guy, like this guy, he has a super light touch, and it just, I could have dozed off literally. So what I want to talk about briefly, yeah, let's see if we could do this briefly. Let me see how many times I get distracted and wander off. Okay, first topic of business, is that how you say it in meetings? First of all, if you see a little flickering over there, I have my TV on, I should have shut it off, but I just have the sound off. And so if you see a little flickering, I mean, this isn't the most professional setting. Again, I'm at my dining room table, so got my little mini light on, so hopefully it's, you know, you guys can see. Okay, so not only is it obviously a new year, 2020, 2020, year of vision, 2020 vision, like everybody has their, you know, what this year means to them. And I just want to say, so far, just from talking with some people, some friends, and social media a little bit, not everybody's having a good start to the new year. Like, I don't know, maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's not a bad start. Like, people are breaking up, marriages. A friend of mine, she's been married for 20 years, and her and her husband just split up like 3 days ago. And it's just like, wow, like, I mean, she's not the only one. I have another friend, and I mean, and then people are just fighting, and emotions are really, really high. And I know that with the new year, and there was a full moon, those are two powerful combinations. This new year brought out a lot of emotions in people. And just from what I've seen, just from what I've experienced myself, what I've been feeling and how emotional like I've been, and I'm very, very sensitive to the moon. Side note, I was afraid of the moon when I was little. I don't know when I stopped being afraid of the moon. It's crazy because when I was little, I would like run in the house really fast at night because I thought the moon was gonna get me. So now I'm just like, my life is like, I'm all about the moon. And way back years ago, it just has always affected me in one way or another. In one way or another, it's always affected me. Because when there's a full moon, I always know. So I used to be a caseworker for social services, and you know, I had like 700 and some clients. I did that for like 16 years, and then I went on to do something else with the city. But anyway, I had 700 and some clients, so you know, I did food stamps, Medicaid, the financial stuff, I did all that. And I mean, people would, when I would have like appointments, we would have walk-ins, and people would come in, like everybody would just be like on edge, irate. And I understand being in those situations where you can get very, emotions run high because you need food, you need money, you need housing, you need medical assistance. Like all that stuff is very time sensitive, and it can go either way really fast. You know, it can go like wrong really fast. And you know, I always try to be the best, you know, worker and the most understanding and empathetic. And because I understand, like I was on the other side, you know, years ago when my kids were were babies. So I know what it was like. Okay, I was homeless. I know what it was like. I mean, not for a long time, but I was homeless when my oldest daughter was a baby. In the middle of winter, I think I might have said this already. If I'm repeating myself, forgive me, but so I know what it's like to struggle. I know what it's like to struggle. You want to talk about struggle? Message me and we can talk, because there's so much. I'm not going to get carried off, okay? I know you guys thought I was going to. Gotcha. Anywho, my point is, when there's a new moon or a full moon, that's huge. That's like life-changing. Like when there's a new moon, it is literally like transformation, new beginnings, things are ending, completion, new year, new beginnings, transformation, new goals, new everything, you know, new year, new me. And you know, I don't want to be cliche all the time. I don't want to be, you know, live, laugh, love. You know, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that annoying person, because I know what life is real. Like shit's real. And, you know, I don't want to be that person that's like, okay, well, that might work for you, but for me, like, it's a completely different story. We all have a different story. We all have different ways of dealing with things, different ways of coping with things, you know, different coping mechanisms. Some of us, you know, maybe, you know, we may self-medicate, and not in a bad way, and not to a degree where you're putting yourself in danger, or anybody else in danger for that matter. But you know, we all have our own ways of dealing with things. And like I said before, I've said it multiple times, like your trauma, your big thing may not be, you know, it's a big thing because I respect that it's big in your life, and I respect you for, you know, your journey and your trial. And you know, I know how bad it can be, and it's like I feel for people. And you know, I don't ever want to minimize somebody's trauma or somebody's issues or somebody's whatever it is you're going through. I don't ever want to minimize it, and I don't want to ever make it seem like it's like really, like you're really going to be upset about that. Like there are worse things going on in the world. And yes, there are bad things going on in the world in other countries. You know, we do have it good. You know, we do need to be a little bit more grateful and more appreciative of the life that we have here in the United States. Like the fact that we can go turn on our water right now at our sink and put a cup of water, you know, get a cup of water to drink, like those are things we take for granted. I mean, I don't even drink sink water, And, you know, forgive me, like, God forgive me that I don't drink sink water because I'm so sensitive to germs that I'm just afraid that there's bacteria in there. So, I mean, I have like a filtered water in my refrigerator, but I barely drink that. I'll use the ice, but I drink the El Dorado water. So I have an El Dorado tank, and they, you know, deliver once a month. And I'm just like, you know, that's I feel like that's a sin, like that's shameful. But, you know, I don't think that I'm like overboard with it. Like, you can be, I don't know, you can be overboard. I don't want to go off on a tangent about water, but basically what my point is that we all have stuff we're going through, and everybody has their own way of dealing with it. And right now it seems like a lot of things for a lot of people have surfaced. And I mean, we all know, I know better than anybody. And if you don't know, anytime you have traumas or any type of thing, anything negative or anything bad or anything sad that you went through, and you're just like, you know what, I don't even want to deal with it. Like, I'm just not going to deal with it. I'm going to just ignore it. I'm going to keep going on with my life. I'm going to drink. I'm going to smoke. I'm going to, you know, do whatever to numb it until it goes away. And then, you know, I'll be good for a while. But the thing is you'll be good for a while, but it is going to resurface. And each time that it resurfaces, it's going to be, there's going to be less time in between. So, okay, dust myself off, get back up, catch my breath, and move on. But did I deal with that trauma? No, I just bypassed it. I got through the little breakdown. I did what I had to do. You know, I took a deep breath. Now I'm just going to keep moving on. But we can move on, keep moving on, keep on keeping on. You know, we can do that. But unless we address that issue, it's going to stay right there, or here, you know, or here. It's going to stay there dormant. And it's just going to just sit in there and chill until something else comes up and triggers it. And then now you got this thing surfacing, coming out that you thought you put away and that you weren't going to have to deal with. And then you got the current thing going on. So now you got two things that you're dealing with. So the new thing triggered this. And if we don't deal with things in life, and I'm not an expert, God knows, like, I have so many things that I look back on and I'm just like, oh my God, like, how was that me? I don't recognize myself in some of the things that I did in my past. And things that were done to me, obviously, I didn't have a choice. So, you know, if I was abused, if I was mistreated, you know, beat up, whatever, I mean, those are things that I didn't choose, obviously. So there's some things that are out of our control, and then there's things that we're all adults. Pretty much, I think we all know right from wrong. I could be wrong. Some people need a little bit of a reminder, but for the most part, anyway, so my point of this is that there's a new moon or full moon, and it's a new year, and people are breaking up, and traumas are surfacing for people. And I mean, things are surfacing inside me. You know, everything will surface, and some bad things, you know, people do you wrong, people do wrong, I do wrong, whoever does wrong, anything that's done, like say, anything that's done in the dark will come out in the light. And no matter what, I don't care what you think, what you say, it will come out. Whatever it is that you're doing, whatever secrets that are, when things surface, when things come out that maybe you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing, okay, the only way it's going to come out is if you're literally doing something that you shouldn't be doing, something that may cause somebody else some heartache. And we know what that is. Like, we know when we're someplace we shouldn't be. Our gut tells us, like, if you go somewhere and you're like, you know, with a group of people or whatever, and you're like, oh God, I really shouldn't be here. Like, I know I shouldn't be doing this, but okay, right there, I know I shouldn't be doing this. This is what I'm doing. Okay, this is what my goal is to continue doing. I've been doing pretty good with it, you know, for several months. But my goal this year is to get better at this. So, you know, the more you do it, the easier it becomes. It becomes natural. So, you know, start, like, if you normally react to something and you're just like, oh, every time they do, you know, every time he does this to me, every time she does this to me, it makes me feel this way, it makes me feel that way, and then for 3 days I'm sick, and then da-da-da-da. Because for me, when I'm upset or somebody upsets me, my stomach has always bothered me since I was little, since forever. And so now I'm just like, I'm like, okay, normally after an argument or after somebody, you know, you heard something upsetting or whatever the case may be, I would be like, okay, normally I would cry, I would get upset, I wouldn't eat, I would, you know, I don't know, maybe get a little reckless. And so what I'm doing is I'm like, no, no. First of all, not only am I getting too old for that, and I can't waste any more time, okay? Time is precious, life is precious for all of us. But for me, I'm speaking for myself, especially for me. Don't you hate when people do that? Or they're like, for me, like, I will not go through any more drama this year, okay? Sorry, I had to do it, you guys. I can't help myself, okay? I'm being serious now. But for me, I'm not gonna do the same old things that Des, you know, did before. I'm not going to sit and cry because somebody didn't call me, somebody's not talking to me. You know what? If people are, like they say, if people walk away from you, let them walk. Let them go. They're actually doing you a favor, and we have to look at those things as blessings. Like, maybe you're in love with somebody and maybe they're just not good for you, and maybe they just treat you like crap, but for whatever it is, for whatever reason, we're just in love with this person. We can't even pinpoint it, because for another person, they can look at that person and be like, what do you love? Like, what about this person are you so in love with? And it's just always that one thing that we can't explain. But you know what? I learned a long time ago. When I was first diagnosed, side note, long story short, when I was first diagnosed with cancer in 2012, from 2010 to early 2014, very early 2014, actually it was 2009, I'm sorry, 2009 to early 2014, I was in a really bad abusive relationship. And yeah, I was going through cancer. Yes, I was diagnosed and still being abused. It wasn't so physical. It was physical a couple times, but like for me, like I said before, you guys, like I knew better. Like I knew better. I knew the signs. I knew what I was involved with. And I just thought, you know what, like, we're best friends. Like, we literally were best friends. Like, we would hold hands like constantly. We would walk to the mailbox and hold hands. We would fall asleep holding hands. Like, literally, it was just like, I don't know, like I love this person, and you know, he does this, but he's not always this way. And you know, I was always like, God, but when he holds me, you know, I just feel so like safe in the world. And it's like, it's just really strange that like I went through all that while I was going through cancer. And after my first surgery, I was like stapled from like my top of my belly button all the way down to my pelvic bone. So I literally had staples all the way. And that wasn't the only incision, the only thing. I had a big hole in my stomach here where they had pulled out my intestine and kind of left it there for 9 months. And that was a traumatic situation. So mind you, let's see, it was a week. Okay, no, my surgery was November 26th, Christmas Day. Christmas Day, actually it was, yeah, okay, Christmas Day, without getting into a bunch of details, we had a little disagreement. I can barely breathe, okay? I can only take a few steps at a time, and it, you know, I get winded because, I mean, I was in surgery for almost 8 hours. It was a major life-threatening situation. And I was really upset. I was crying because I was emotional. okay? After you have surgeries, you get really emotional because of the anesthesia and the trauma and all of that. On top of I was in an abusive relationship. On top of I thought I was going to die from the cancer. On top of the doctor saying, we don't know. On top of going for chemotherapy. On top of having radiation. On top of having my intestine hanging out of me. On top of not knowing whether or not I was going to ever be normal again. Was a nightmare. Then to have a man, you know, the person you love, abusing you, but he's taking care of you. So it kind of goes back to how my dad was, right? My dad abused me, but he took care of me. Okay, we're not going to get into all that. My point is, I did get off on a little tangent, sorry, but, you know, it's information that you guys might want to know because it's my real life. So, let me try to just speed it up. So basically what my point is that I was going through all of that and I knew better. Like I knew better. I knew that I knew I was being abused. I knew it wasn't right. I knew that one way or another I had to get out of it. And I just didn't see that day ever coming because, you know, he moved in with me and it was like, I don't even know what to do. Like, I'm so confused. I'm so sick. I'm so weak. I don't want to make decisions based on my emotions. And so that's kind of what kept me in it for so long. But my point is, and the reason that I brought that story up is because people are in love with people and they're staying with them for the wrong reasons. And they know it's not a healthy situation. They know that this person isn't good for them. They're just maybe toxic together. You know, you can still love somebody and be away from them. Like you can, because it was so hard for me before my second surgery. Well, okay, prior to that, he had said, 2 weeks after my surgery, he said, I was crying and I was really upset and I was just like, I'm scared. I can't even bend over. I had to use one of those little things to pick stuff up. Like I couldn't bend. He had to bathe me. I was just like anything and everything. I was just humiliated. It was horrible. And I said, he's like, well, calm down or something like that. And I said, God, I just had surgery. Like, you act like I've been like this for like months and months and I'm upset. And I said, I literally just had surgery. Like, you expect me to be okay? And he's like, well, yeah, now that you mention it, when are you going to get over it? I mean, like, they took the cancer out. So like, what's the big deal? And it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. So I went on from there. I finally got enough strength. I was still in love for whatever reason. I know, doesn't make sense. And then I said, after a big fight of many fights, when I was supposed to be focusing on my healing, I couldn't even focus on my healing. Anytime I'd start to feel a little bit better, we would fight and I would just get broken down even more. But finally one night, I was in the other room sleeping, because that's just what I did, because I didn't want to sleep with the person who was abusing me. So towards the end, so I was in the room sleeping, and so he comes in the morning. He's like, I'm sorry for what I said, what I did. You know, I didn't mean it. I love you. You know, this broken record thing that you hear all the time. I'm sorry till the next time. I'm sorry till the next time. I'm sorry, just to pacify you, just to tell you what you want to hear. You know, that song and dance. And I said, I'm leaving today. I'm moving out today of my own house. And he said, no, you're not. I'm like, yeah, I am. He goes, no, you're not. Come on. Don't talk stupid. You know, I'm sorry. You know, we'll talk about it when I get home. And I'm like, I will not be here when you get home. And he didn't believe me. So as soon as he left, I had gotten a U-Haul, went and got a U-Haul. My family came. I couldn't lift anything. So my family came, packed up all my stuff, and I moved out. And I moved out for a period. That's another story. I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna stop there because the reason that I brought that up is because we can still be in love with people and not be with them. You know, we can make choices to end a bad situation, to get out of a bad situation, and get away from a person who's just not good for us. It's not healthy. And so you can still be in love with somebody and just go your separate ways. It's hard, you guys. I know it's so hard. It was so hard for me to do. And there was even nights that I would just cry and just lay in bed. I went and stayed with a friend of mine, long time friend. And I just cried, and I was just broken. I was broken with my health. I was broken with my spirit. My heart was broken, and I just thought, okay, there's a reason for this. And you know, I did learn a lot, and that'll be in my next video. So, you know, I'm not going to bring any names into it or anything, but I'll talk about that in another video. So basically, new year, you know, everybody's going through something, and you know, we have to address the things that we're dealing with. We have to address the traumas and the issues, like my trauma with that. I feel like I've dealt with it and addressed it. I did. I worked through it all. I crawled through it all. I cried through it all, and I think I did work past the majority of it. I'm not going to say that there wasn't any damage, because, you know, realistically there was a little bit of damage. And so but you know, if we have unprocessed traumas, like we literally feel like, if you're in an argument with somebody and you have unprocessed traumas about relationship stuff, and this person brings something out in you, immediately we get, you know, our ego gets defensive. We get defensive. We start like explaining ourselves, or like over explaining, and no, I'm not those things, and I am a good person. And you know, we start like trying to convince people that we're good people, like we're good, like, and that's just like the little kid in us coming out saying, you know, oh, I'm sorry, I'll do better, you know, I am good. And it's just like, we don't have to do all that, but that happens when we're in relationships before we've healed from other relationships. Sometimes we move into other relationships too soon, and it's not a bad or a good thing. It's neither or. It's just whatever, if it works for you. I think that what we do is sometimes, I used to go from one relationship to another relationship, because going to another relationship keeps you from feeling the pain of this last relationship. So that's an unresolved pain, an unresolved trauma. We didn't deal with it. So we went from this person to this person to some people just do that in relationships. Not everybody does, but some people are relationship people. I'm not a person who can date. I could never date. I could never go on a date tonight with Jimmy and on Friday go to dinner with Bobby. And I'm just making up some random names, but you know, I could never do that. I'm going to date one person. Let's see how it works. If it don't work, that sucks, you know, because I wasted all that time. But you know, everything happens for a reason, and people walking out of your life is not a bad thing. People who are meant to be in your life will be in your life. And if people are gone, if people are walking away, or you're forced to get away from somebody, count that as like somebody looking out for you, because I mean, that's a blessing in disguise. I know it sucks, it hurts, but once you get past that heartache, you see and you're like, God, why did I stay so long? Like, why did it take me so long to learn the lesson that I was supposed to learn in that? And there's no way. We all have different times. This person's supposed to be in your life for a year. This person's supposed to be here for 5 years, maybe 10, maybe finally you'll meet somebody who you're going to grow old with. Maybe you're married for 25 years and that chapter came to an end, and it's time for you to go your separate ways because you grew apart, or you know, he fell out of love or she fell out of love. And hopefully it's a joint thing. You know, people can agree to disagree and just, you know, be happy and civil. That's usually not the case, probably, unfortunately. But anyway, so my point is to this video is that it's a new year. It's not starting off great for some people, for a lot of people, and the full moon really intensified the emotion. So it was just like, it's just like this things are just brewing right now, I think, everywhere. Like things are bubbling and brewing, and it's kind of scary, actually, if you think about it. Just be really careful, you guys. Protect yourselves. I mean, emotions are high, so a lot of times if you're vocal, like me, you know, My mom used to say that I talk like a truck driver because my dad used to cuss all the time. Like every other word was the F word. So it was just like, you know, me and my sister were completely opposite. So she didn't like tattoos. I don't even think I heard her cuss. I think I heard her cuss a few times. She would say shit, you know, stuff like that. But I never heard her say like, what the fuck? Are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, I never heard her say that. So I used to talk like that all the time. Okay, once I started, you know, really going to church and, you know, stopped, you know, drinking and just, I wasn't a drinker, okay, a on occasion drinker, social, whatever, once or twice a month, let's just put it that way. Once I stopped doing all that stuff, and which is not a bad thing, it's not a bad thing at all, trust me, because I've had a couple beers since then, just because I'm like, man, I need a drink, like I need a beer. Things are going crazy. I stopped drinking. I stopped doing all this stuff thinking that it's not what God wanted for me, but I'm not saying he does want that for me. But anyway, my point is that we can all just do what we need to do. We can all do what we need to do to get past things, to get through things. Okay, my oven, like, light was flashing off and on, like somebody had pushed the preheat on the oven, and I'm like, what the heck? When I start talking like about some like serious things, like some things, I'm like, oh no, like it's a ghost, because I have a lot of that activity. So where was I? Basically, my point was just be safe, be careful when you're in a heated argument with somebody. I think I was saying, because I'm very vocal, I have kind of not really gotten myself into trouble, but I won't back down for nothing or nobody. Like, I've been through way too much stuff to cower into like, oh, you're scaring me, and like, you know, no. I am not going to allow anybody to mistreat me. I'm not going to allow anybody to disrespect me or talk down to me, or sometimes. And the reason I say we have unresolved trauma is because, and I know that there's some things that are unresolved in me still. I'm still a work in progress, trust me. I'm not where I need to be, like Joyce Meyer says, you know, I'm not where I need to be, but thank God I'm not where I used to be. And that literally is legit like my story. So just be careful though, because you might say the wrong thing. We have things that trigger us. Just imagine the people that we're arguing with and like what might be their triggers. Like something that we say or do might trigger them, and you just don't know. Like, you don't know people. People are married for, like I said, 20 years and they still don't know their partner. Like, their partner does stuff and they're like, wow, like, who was I married to all those years? You know, so you just have to be really careful. But anyway, so those were my point. That was my point. But there was also quickly just basically yeah, don't, you know, we start to over explain when we have unresolved traumas, and we start to try to convince people of, you know, we were right, you know, I didn't do that, and that wasn't me, and you know, I am a good person, and we are, you know what, you are a good person, I'm a good person, you know, everybody deserves happiness, everybody deserves a second chance, sometimes a third chance. But you know what, if people are mistreating you and it's just like you're hearing the same things and the same apologies, you know, week after week, month after month, year after year, you know, I'm not saying like end your relationship or end your marriage. Like, obviously try to work it out, you know, and if you can't, try to get some counseling, marriage counseling or something. But again, 9 out of 10 times probably, you know, one wants to go, the other one doesn't, or they don't believe in it, or whatever. But I'm just saying that, you know, be healthy, make good choices this year, make good relationship choices. And if you've been in toxic relationships, or you're in a toxic relationship, like, really evaluate things. And you know, you deserve so much better. I know I deserved so much better. I still deserve better, and I deserve good. I'm not saying that I deserve good, and I deserve to be treated fairly and equally and, you know, respectfully. We all need to respect each other and not be hurtful. I've said some hurtful things. I don't hit below the belt though. Like, you know, there's just some things that, you know, everybody has arguments. All relationships have disagreements, misunderstandings, lack of communication, like, you know, just really, I have to really stop myself and say, okay, I got to pick and choose my words very carefully, because my tongue is so quick and sharp. Like, you know, it's, what is that? The tongue has no bones, but it can break bones or break hearts or it can break. Words are very, very powerful. Let me just say, words are very powerful. You know, if somebody calls you a name that you don't believe that about yourself, but somebody says something to you that's so not true, and you're just like, are you freaking kidding me? You're really gonna call me that horrible word out of my name? You're gonna call me that name? Like, you just want to just like pound somebody in their head? Like, we just can't be having these types of relationships, bottom line. If it gets to the point where you're getting ready to put hands on somebody, or they're you know, throwing stuff at you or whatever, it's time to just, and I'm not saying break up, get divorced, go your separate ways, okay? Separate from each other for, you know, a few days, a week, a couple weeks, you know, and then reevaluate things and see, like, you know, do we have the same goals? You know, are we still in love? Like, you know, what do we want for ourselves? You know, you want this, I want this, but, you know, we both want this. So if it's salvageable, obviously salvage it if you're still in love, and you're, you know, it's, you know, I'm not talking about disagreements like, oh, you always pick the restaurant, and oh, you know, I don't like that kind of food. I'm not talking about like trivial, petty things like that. I'm talking about like life, you know, like calling you names. That's emotionally abusive. That's mentally abusive, calling you names. You know, being physical, obviously, that's a no-brainer. That's like an automatic no. Mental abuse is hard to prove, and so if you're being mentally abused and you know it, and you're telling the person, you know, that this is mentally abuse, this is mental abuse, and they're just laughing like, okay, you're so dramatic, and you're just, okay, yeah, whatever. If you know you're being abused, talk to somebody if you question yourself, because people who are being abused often question themselves, and they're just like, you know what, I don't even trust my own judgment. Am I being abused? Am I just being too sensitive? So bounce it off of somebody else. Like, tell somebody else like what's going on and see what they think, and then even talk to a therapist or whatever. Reach out, ask different people. But when you're being abused and you know it, your gut tells you you're being abused, or your gut tells you this isn't right for you. You know, your gut tells you don't go sit over here and drink with these people. Your gut tells you don't go into that building over there. Your gut tells you, like, you know, what to do, what not to do. Our gut instincts is what tells us a lot of times. Sometimes we just know right from wrong and we automatically do things. But sometimes if you sit back and you're like, oh, I got a sick feeling about this, like, I don't have a good feeling about this, then don't go into the building. Like, there's somebody in there who's going to chop your head off. Like, don't do it. Listen to your gut. You know, take 10 seconds. Take 10 seconds and breathe and count backwards from 10 to 1. No, just seriously, like, take a few seconds and just like say, okay, is this, what I'm about to do, is this going to better my life? What I'm about to do, is this going to destroy somebody, crush somebody's heart? What I'm about to say, you know, what is it going to, you know, where am I going to gain and where am I going to lose? Like, really evaluate everything going on in your life. Evaluate your relationships. If you're struggling, you're sad, you're depressed, you're having anxiety 24/7, you're waking up with anxiety, you're going to bed with anxiety, stop and think about, what am I feeling anxious about? Go with what right now am I feeling anxious about? Oh, I'm thinking about these bills that are past due. That's where I'm feeling anxious about. Or I'm feeling anxious about what somebody said to me and it really hurt my feelings and I just can't seem to get it out of my head, and it's just making me. We're holding on to those things, so they have power, and they're taking residents in our home, in our bodies, and we can't allow those feelings and that toxicity in our bodies. Like, we need to purge. Me and my daughter were talking about this. We need to purge. This is a year for purging. This is a year for purging, you guys. This is going to be a good year for all of us. I think, you know, purging a lot of it's going to be bittersweet, but it needs to happen. It needs to happen. A lot of things are overdue. A lot of things are, you know, you can sweep stuff under the carpet for so long, and I've lived it. I know you can sweep things under the carpet, but at some point that carpet's going to be pulled up. You're not going to be able to sweep anything under it because it's going to be pulled out from under you. It's going to be thrown away, and all you're going to have this pile of crap that you swept under the carpet when you were 15, when you were 19, when you were 22, when you were 30. All that stuff that you thought you were sweeping under the carpet and just like, oh, whatever, you know, I'm not going to deal with it. You're going to deal with it. Better to deal with it now than to have it come out in another relationship where you could ruin your own marriage. You could sabotage yourself. You could, I mean, there's so many things that could happen. We have to try to deal the best that we can. You know, we're all struggling. The whole mental illness thing, I know, makes things really difficult. It makes things hard because, you know, we have a lot going on, and, you know, there comes our judgment. And that's what happens is we get in these arguments with people, and we're trying to explain how good we really are, and how hard we try, and, you know, why is this happening? And we really have to tell ourselves, you know what? It's okay. This person is not going to define me. What you think about me is not going to determine my day. What you think, what he said, what she said, it's not going to, you know, matter at the end of the day when I lay my head down on my pillow. How I feel about myself is really all that matters. And if I'm at peace with myself and I'm at peace with God, then I'm good. And it sucks that all this shit's going on around us. And I'm not saying like it's going on around me right now. I'm just speaking like hypothetically. It sucks that this is going on around me. But you know what? I'm good. I'm treating people good. I'm doing my best, my absolute best. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm trying to be there, be a better person, be a better everything. And so if you feel good within yourself, it doesn't matter. Don't listen to what people think, what people say, because people don't even know what the hell they're doing in their own lives. Everybody's life is so screwed up, but they're quick to say, oh, why are you doing that? Why are you over there? Why are you with him? Why are you talking to this person? Why are you doing that? Oh, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be grateful for what you have at home, and da-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da. Like, okay, how about you get a mirror, okay, stand in front of the mirror and look at yourself in the mirror. And if you're perfect and there's no flaws, like, you know, those of you without sin, cast the first stone, you know? It's not exactly those words, but, you know, I don't know, you guys. All I know is we need to just wake up. Wake up. It's a year of change. It's a year of a lot of stuff is coming out of the woodwork, and it's scary. Let's just pray. Let's just meditate, and let's just meditate on peace, love, like just peace and love. Peace and love. Like, those are the two main things that we need right now, more than anything, in all of our relationships, in our homes, in your workplace, wherever, in the store, on the road. Like, peace and love and patience. Peace, love, and patience are the main thing. That's what I need in my life. Peace, consistent peace, love, genuine relationships. That's all. That's all I need, and that's what I want to go into this new year. And I want to just focus on that. Obviously, I'm going to fall back because I'm human, and obviously things aren't always going to go according to, you know, peace, love, and, you know, happiness. But to the best of my ability, you guys do that with each other. really just think long and hard about your situation. If your marriage is fine, then great, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But if you're in a situation where, you know, you're having more bad days than good days, you really need to sit down and ask yourself, is this really what I want? Is this really the way I want to go into another year? Do I really want to carry on with this person and have these same conversations and these same arguments month after month, year after year? Wasting time. Time is precious. Life is short. We don't know how much longer we have on this earth. None of us do. Not even health-wise. None of us really know. Tomorrow's not promised. That's not cliche. It's just a fact. And love people while you have them. If you're mad at them and you want to tell them you love them, you know what? Humble yourself, okay? Get all your pride aside and just say, you know what? I love you. Like, I love you. Yeah, I'm pissed off at you, but you know what? I love you. And if God puts something on your heart, but you're mad at that person, or you don't want to like make that first move because you guys are fighting and you don't want to like be the first person to talk, do it. Trust me, do it. Like, without fail, you will never ever go wrong if you do what is on your heart. So anyway, you guys, I'm going to end this video with that. I don't know if any of it makes sense, but new moon or full moon, new year, lots of changes. I'm just seeing a lot of changes coming, and I'm just like watching it like a TV and like a movie, and I'm just like, wow, like all these things are unfolding, and I'm hearing a lot of this over here and a lot of that over there, a lot of sadness, a lot of happiness, a lot of anger. Like, this isn't a very, very emotional year. There's a very, very, Google it all. Like, this is a very, very emotional year. So be careful, make good choices, and leave your comments, questions, and suggestions for me. And let me know what you guys think about the new year, and about what's going on in the world right now, what's going on with people, and just your experiences. And yeah, give this video a thumbs up if you found it informative or helpful or enjoyable or entertaining. So yeah, I think my next video is going to be makeup, because I've been doing a lot of this and I really want to do a makeup look, or I don't know, makeup, not really, kind of like a chit chat, get ready, because you always want to hear some more of my, you know, chit chat. Anyway, I think that's it. I think I covered everything that I wanted to talk about based on my notes. I know there's a lot of stuff that I didn't talk about, but that's pretty much how my videos go. Even if I do write stuff down, I don't want to take time to sit here and like, you know, read everything. But yeah, I'm pretty sure some of you guys can relate to what I'm talking about. Don't judge yourself. You know, don't beat yourself up. We're all just trying, like I said, we're all a bunch of imperfect people in an imperfect world, just trying to survive. Yo, like, just trying to survive. So anyway, guys, this video is going to be super long. I'm sorry. Maybe you're taking a bath and you like long videos. So anyway, that's going to be it. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.